What's going on there, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you guys something. It is definitely hot on the Call of Duty block right now, guys. It is so much information dropping. It's insane. Now, I want to try to cover as much as I can in today's video, but expect another video tomorrow diving deeper in some crazier details about the future of Call of Duty. But in today's video, I saw a little something over on Twitter that kind of left me a little, 50-50. I saw a lot of good things that I think are good for the future of this franchise, but also at the same time, I see a decent amount of negatives that could honestly devastate the franchise. But ladies and gentlemen, before we go ahead and dive deep, if you guys are interested in more content just like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. I post daily here at 8 in the morning Eastern time, everything X-Defined and Call of Duty related. And last but not least, if you guys are interested in any of my live streams, I will be live today over on Twitch, starting between 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern time. Of course, if you guys are interested, I got a link to that channel down in the description of this video. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, over on Twitter, the Ghost of Hope, and of course, if anybody doesn't know who the Ghost of Hope is, he is a very reliable leaker who has honestly made a pretty good name for himself on, social media with Twitter. A lot of the leakers kind of, just fade away or, go, except for Bob. I know Bob has been around for a while, but the Ghost of Hope has been here for ages and still pumping. But honestly, a lot of his leaks are pretty dang good, and I do trust his sources. But he said, "What I am being told about the future of Call of Duty. Microsoft has set up a new committee under Activision for Call of Duty that will control features and systems at the franchise level and let the studios make suggestions. So whether something like Omni Movement, which is new to the franchise, survives past this year, will be decided not by Infinity Ward or Treyarch, but by this committee. Studios are being told not to innovate in areas like UI, prestige, certain gameplay features, etc., but rather to focus on innovating on maps, modes, and storytelling, as this is where they want the creativity to come from." Now, like I said, I am a little mixed about how I feel about all this information here. For anybody who doesn't really understand, a lot of these development teams, when it comes to management, I wouldn't say control everything, but they do have a say a lot of the time when it comes to gameplay decisions. Now, there's good sides of this and bad sides of this. Like, the bad sides, for example, would be Modern Warfare 3 2023, where Sledgehammer was putting together a banger game, probably one of the best games we've seen in the past, 5+ years. But of course, it was hell for them to put that game together because every step of the way, they had to run stuff past Infinity Ward since it's basically still under the Infinity Ward, name Modern Warfare, since, everybody knows Modern Warfare games from Infinity Ward. Funny enough, even the OG Modern Warfare 3 was put together by Sledgehammer Games, and a lot of people don't know this, but that's why I say that when people see Modern Warfare, they see Infinity Ward. So when it came to the new Modern Warfare 3, again, Infinity Ward had a lot of say and a lot of features because it's still basically their brand. It's Activision's brand, but you get what I'm saying here. That's, an example of how it's a downside to these development teams, having a lot of say in their style of games. But the good side is like classic COD, COD 4, Modern Warfare 2, World at War, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2. These games, each and every one of them, had a vibe to it, had their own play styles. COD 4 and World at War, although similar, played completely different. Treyarch, when it came to World at War, made it such a fast-paced game. Whereas COD 4, yeah, it's kind of fast-paced, but a lot of the time you'll see people posted up with the M16 stopping power, one bursting you across the map, right? They always had their own play styles, but it made the games unique. That is what I think of when I think of, good forms of these developers having their own say. But when it comes to this committee, there's nothing that the developers can really forcefully change anymore. They don't have that creativity anymore. There is going to be a set team in place under Activision who will dictate what is introduced into Call of Duty and what is not introduced into Call of Duty. Now, again, I see some positives in here because this committee is already saying that they can't change things like UI, prestige, gameplay features, certain gameplay features and stuff like that, which is, good and bad. I still think the UI should be improved, but hearing that the prestige system should no longer be, messed with is phenomenal. Please, screw Infinity Ward's idea of it's so sad because Infinity Ward used to be my favorite, team, but my God. When they started off with Model for 2019 and they really tried to cement the idea that people didn't want to, prestige and people would much rather have just a blank, no grind, just literally get to max level, wait till next season, get to max level, wait till next season. Oh, God, it was such a bad system for COD. I am so happy to see that, the committee is saying that this should not be messed with. So there are good things to this because, let's be real here, Infinity Ward hasn't been on their A game recently. Ever since Modern Warfare 2019, I know people talk smack about Ghost, but I don't think Ghost was that bad of a COD game. And Infinite Warfare was probably my favorite jetpack COD out of the three. I think that gets a ton of unnecessary hate. You guys can say what you want to say. I've been saying this since day one. You can even go back to, some of my content or times I mentioned Infinite Warfare. I enjoyed it. It is what it is, man. I think it got hate because it was the third jetpack COD in a row, and nobody wanted to give it a chance because everybody was tired of jetpack games. If that was the first jetpack game, I probably would think that it would have a different, reception. Like, let's be honest, the game had the most dislikes on the trailer. The trailer! People didn't even play the game, and they already made their opinion about the game, right? That game had a rough start, but I think that was still a good game as well. But Modern Warfare 2019, the whole management at Infinity Ward shifted. Their idea of COD shifted completely, and they started scrapping so many important things like the minimap, a functioning minimap, the prestige system, all of these things, and they're trying to forcefully implement it into the game, and it worked. I mean, the majority of the community thought that Activision was, playing favorites with Infinity Ward with how many ideas they were taking from this development team or the management at this team. It was bad. It was really bad. But let me go ahead and show you the second post here by the Ghost of Hope in response to his original post and people that were, responding. He says, I understand people's criticisms of this, but I think it's for the best for the health of the franchise. I'd rather have samey gameplay with a new paint job with some thought-out innovations, which is how 2007 to 2012 era of COD was, than Infinity Ward coming in with 2026 and ruining good progress towards winning players' trust back. Totally fair to be optimistic or pessimistic about it. Honestly, I feel this. I really do feel this. Because that's my biggest concern. Because again, the committee is in place. But what worries me about this committee is the fact that they take away the variety of these development teams. Yes, don't get me wrong. I'm very happy to know that Infinity Ward can't come in and say, oh, the minimap must be taken away now for innovation. Or, the prestige system must be removed for innovation. Forget all that noise, right? That's good news. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy that going forward, a lot of the staples of Call of Duty will be a regular thing, finally, once again. So they can't, tamper with anything like that. But I don't think you need a small committee to put guidelines out there to not mess with, right? Am I crazy or what? I understand what the Ghost of Hope is saying here, that, it's not a bad thing. But in all reality, you could just simply write down on a piece of paper, hey, don't remove the prestige system, idiots. Or, hey, the minimap is important, idiots. And just leave it there. And, if the development teams or management at development teams say, oh, maybe we should do this. And they look at the list and say, oh, never mind. Oh, man, maybe we shouldn't go ahead and remove the minimap again, But I don't think you need a group of people to do something like this. And who are, these people? What is this group? We don't know the individuals. Now, I guess I would feel a little bit more comfortable if it was, like maybe Scumpy up in there or something like that. Because, I know the dude knows what a, good Call of Duty game is all about. Even back to the debate, and not like the TikTok brain rot shipment mindset. He knows what a good Call of Duty game is all about. I wouldn't mind. But we have no clue who is up in this committee and, what their intentions actually are. And I'm going to say this, and I'm going to get a lot of hate for this. I'm going to get a lot of hate. As much harm as Infinity Ward has done, I still enjoy these teams having their identities. I don't want everything to meld together so much, because even back in the OG days, Infinity Ward games and Treyarch games still both stood out. If I were to play Black Ops 2, I knew for a fact that it wasn't a Infinity Ward game. If I were to play, Modern Warfare 2, I would know for a fact it's not a Treyarch game. And if you were to go ahead and put up these OG games to me, like let's say I never played any of these classics before. Like I played COD 4 and, and World at War. And you were to put up Black Ops 2 and Modern Warfare 2, but they weren't titled anything. They were just blank slate games. I had no clue what the development team was. They just slipped in a disc and they loaded up a private match with, nothing, no information besides getting into the game and playing it. I could easily tell the difference. easily tell the difference. Even if both of these random games were set in the same time period, let's say Black Ops 2 was magically matching the time periods of, well, actually, that was around Modern Warfare 3, which Sledgehammer made that multiplayer experience, but still, kind of blended in with the Modern Warfare mindset, just with different changes to balance it out. But let's say, again, COD 4 and World at War over to, like, BO1 and Modern Warfare 2 there, right? Let's say they're both in the same time frame or something like that. Black Ops 1 wasn't taking place during the Vietnam and all that stuff. It was instead a modern day game as well. I could easily tell the difference of who made each game. I would instantly, in less than 5 minutes, know that the game is made by Infinity Ward or made by Treyarch. I'll be real with you guys. Nowadays, I can still tell. I can still tell that Black Ops 6 is a Treyarch title. Don't get me wrong. There's no shot in hell Infinity Ward would make a game like Black Ops 6. No shot. So, trust me. I understand that it still has an identity, but I'll be real. It's getting harder and harder and harder every year that goes by to differentiate, which team is making what. They are blending together so nicely, and I'm using that word in a bad way, though. It might sound good, but I'm not saying it's blending together nicely in a good way, because that's not what I want. I don't want them to blend together at all. That to me takes away what makes Call of Duty able to do what it does. I still want Call of Duty to go on a 2-year cycle, but let's be real here. This franchise would not be able to last this long. Well, it could because of the name, and it became just a household name, but still, variety and time periods and different franchises and different, companies doing different things and pointing their games in different directions. It's no chance this game would be able to be where it's at today without that, without building up multiple different groups of people who might enjoy a little bit more of a, realistic vibe, or might enjoy a really arcadey vibe. There's all different types of people who enjoy FPS games. COD was able to be a juggernaut now, and it doesn't get the numbers it gets by, getting a very niche audience. No, it gets those numbers because a lot of people of all different likings will gravitate to this game because it can give a little bit of everything. And those identities wouldn't be there if it weren't for these, again, different teams working on different things. Like, bro, zombies wouldn't even be a thing right now if we had a committee, dictating everything overhead, saying, oh, it all has to be in line. Everything has to be the same. If that's how Call of Duty was since day one, we wouldn't even have zombies. Like, that's the charm to me of Call of Duty. And although it's not confirmed that charm is going away, this committee could be very open, and, they can allow these teams to take different routes and do different things and just make sure that the core of COD stays intact. If that's the only, use of this committee, then great. But again, I feel like that's odd. We wouldn't need a committee for something like that. To me, feels like it's going to be a little bit deeper. And these are people with emotions. I feel like the whole game is going to be dictated off of a group of like 10 people. The whole franchise, when it used to be dictated off of 2 different development teams of hundreds of people who had passions for different things within the, it used to be a lot deeper. Now it just seems it's going to be a group of people at a table saying, oh, yep, veto, let that go. Veto, let that go. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't that seem a bit awkward? But I don't know. I'm going to leave it up to you guys in the comment section. I can see the good of this, and I can see the bad of this. And again, it's not even going, this is all leaks right now. But the Ghost of Hope, I'll be honest with you guys, He doesn't really miss. He hits pretty hard when it comes to his leaks. And this doesn't shock me whatsoever, especially coming from something that Microsoft might do. I could totally see this happening. They're so used to managing massive things that they do it in a very corporate way. This seems like a very corporate way, not like, a down-to-heart game dev way. Game devs are very passionate. I always consider game, development like an art, because it is an art. It's a lot of heart and soul that's put into these things to make them special. That's what made the OG classic special. Having a table, a committee of people dictating options for these games doesn't make anything very special. I'm gonna leave it up to you guys down in the comment section. But as always, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you hate it, leave a dislike. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. We post daily here at 8 in the morning Eastern time. And of course, if you guys want to check out my live stream, I will be live today over on Twitch, starting at around 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern time. You guys find a link to that channel down in the description of this video. But as always, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.